Hardpoint. Ever since the addition of Super, they played at least 3 out of the 5 series so far throughout this stage. It's been a lockdown for them, man. They are the best team on rotation because of what their ARs can do. Just hold down these lanes, allow my SMGs to roam free.
It's just really interesting because both these two teams play Hardpoint very differently. Miami, one of the best teams at holding. Toronto, one of the worst, but one of the best teams when it comes to breaking hills. So that may be some of the battle that we look at, kind of playing it from two edges of the sword. And if you're joining us here late, this is our best of 5. That dealership, Search and Destroy, is going to be fiery. But we got to talk about this here. And first of all, it's the Miami Heretics taking on the Toronto Ultra. Let's get it on.
Vamos, mi gente. Let's get into the Hacienda Hardpoint to start this one. Rentcore and Real already combining for 2 kills. Whenever I like to watch Miami Heretics, they usually dominate every single P1. And you can already tell, with 2 kills going their way, all we got to do is continue to soak and hold down the lane.
Looking really solid. Super with the extra AR also in play. Looking really nice to lock down this open lane. Not even playing for the P2 side of the map yet. Just letting Real run routes over that direction. Ultra trying to set up their next break attempt. Insight Joe. First 2 kills are good. Hercules trying to look over the top of the hardpoint. Also takes off the contestant, and an opportunity here for Toronto to stabilize.
Yeah, even though you haven't really got a lot of time off of this P1, you're still in control of the map for that P2. Final 15 seconds here, and now Miami, after soaking up a lot of that P1 time, are just going to cut their losses early on, hit the long route. Real working his way over through well side, but all of Ultra, they backed up.
Insight gets a read that Real's playing over towards well side. Klinex right there with it. Oh, follow though from Super is solid. Looking for more and decides instead of playing for the spawns to try to get into the hard point early. Not going to work out. And now maybe a 1v1 with Mercules and Metals, and Mercules able to lock things up early on this P2.
You best believe the guy's got a beamer on him, so let's sit on this POV for a little bit as that's 3 dead. Miami have to try to work their way through lobby. Klinex is already going to be contested, and Miami are setting up a very long pinch. You got one going through the front, everyone else do well. Every kill that they get spawns them all the way across the map.
Insight had the read on it, called for help. Klinex right there to assist. Now Joe locking things over the middle of the map, and that's absolutely perfect from Ultra. Able to re-slip this lead back into their name, and for Miami, now you just have to hit from the front last 20 seconds.
Yeah, thankfully Rentcore opens up with that first kill onto Mercules, so you have a little bit of pressure through the front door. Now that opens up the gap through the side, but trade after trade. Metals last one standing, he's able to walk away with 3. So now the spawns for Ultra, still at the old HP. Miami have a free rotation over towards new.
And look at this line of scrimmage that Miami's setting up in the minimap. You've got Contest over at old. You've got Super backing up over towards mid to watch this cross, although he's hindered from being able to hold the position and actually finds himself in a little bit of trouble. So just when you thought Miami had the perfect setup on rotation, now the test is already here for Toronto.
Yeah, they're already in your grill, trying to contest you over towards top left. Thankfully, you take care of Joe Deceives. Now you just got to win the gunfight to the front. And the team shot's good enough to take care of Rentcore. The nade, good enough to take care of Real, and that's a team kill as well, but you still have the numbers if you're Ultra.
Yeah, Super's just hanging on to the high ground. One final read over towards the arches, has Klinex at bay, has to try to contest. We're caught on the reload. Insight clears out that top window position. Now Ultra can get to work with a spawn flip on the left-hand side of the map. Maybe a chance to contest this last 20 for good.
Yeah, Miami should get a heads-up note on that because your 2 teammates spawn over towards well, but Rentcore doesn't react in time. Klinex is able to find a double, so that final 20 is going to go in favor of Ultra, and they're winning gunfights off the rotation. Subsite already makes an appearance, and now you can blow the game wide open with a good hold here.
Absolutely the case, but it is just 3 Ultra members playing over the top of this hard point. Joe Deceives called to take his focus back over towards Checkers. Help in the middle of the map also coming through, but a long route on the way from Real. Oh, the read is there, but oh, it's just one trade coming through. Mercules trying to hold on to the cross, not able to do so. It's just down to Klinex, and the last word is held by Rentcore as Miami get their break.
Oh, now Rentcore trying to hold it down. SMG and AR in hand. Joe Deceives here to try to contest. Just trying to stall on time for the teammates to get back into the play, but now everyone from Miami in the position to play these trades. They know where the spawns are coming in. Now the pinch is here for Super. He's going to block it, instantly turn around towards Lambo.
Timing is going to be everything here from Super. Read down low was decent, but the win even bigger. Klinex for a double inside the hard point. Also, make sure that Super is held back. Last 20 seconds. Important here for Toronto to try to lock this time down. Metal shut down from the open hallway. Here comes the pitch from the front. Real, one of the last ones standing, and will not be able to crack the code here. So Ultra reclaimed the lead. Rentcore dealt with, and Subsite again turning up here for Toronto.
Yeah, and also Klinex, a 13-8 start. He's been their X-Factor all throughout Stage 3. He has taken his gameplay to a whole different level, but on the other side, Metals, he was like just their X factor. If Meadows can give you consistent game plays, especially in the respawn, you're going to stand a pretty good chance if you're Miami.
Oh, he's got an opportunity here off of the stun to follow up on it. Good teamwork executed on Miami.
Big
And
two.
Metals now on 5 in a row. Looking for more, but shut down through open hallway. Miami not able to stay on the hard point here, which is a bit concerning considering that they have a good kill feed, and Toronto's going to come back in and find themselves a setup and get themselves some time.
Yeah, they're just keeping it scrappy through the middle of the map this time around. Want to stay alive over towards Spiral side, but Super lines up a double. The last player standing on the hard point is Mercules. He's able to find two, and at least contest around that mid-map area, and still allows his teammates to have the spawns for new.
Yeah, I was about to say, this is a really good double for Mercules because Toronto was spawning out towards both, but those wins allow a spawn over towards the well side with just 12 seconds remaining on the P1. Joe locking things down, creates a free route for Toronto to get into P2, and Mercules will know that this is a very tested position. He sees it by himself.
Yeah, just going to keep on backing up. I have all of the left side of the mini-map. So let me just read this pressure from a different angle. Joe Deceives knows that he's also going to get pressure through the middle of the map. He's at least able to find one. Mercules on the trade, so you have the numbers to still contest it.
Oh, insight, nice little up and over. Gives himself some space, has help as the spawns are still in for Toronto. First significant lead starting to brew here for the Ultras. Insight finds two, that cleans everything up, and Miami have to reset, and a delayed elimination there from Mercules staggers this hit convincingly for the Heretics.
And this is sort of like the series that they played online, where you're going up against Ultra, who are 7-2 in hardpoint. They don't really have a guy that stands out in this lane. They're just doing the fundamental part better a lot this time around than they did the previous couple of stages. And if they keep on beating you to rotation and you're always forced to break, you're just not going to have a good time. But at least you find 3 through the front door if you're Super, but it's still leads to nothing.
Yeah, 13 seconds, not enough time for Miami to send any numbers to try to finesse this scrap time. So they're going to, again, try to put together that 50-yard line, try to battle. CleanX already finds one, moving quickly over the top. And that's a position that Super does not want to get rid of. A little back jump comes out, Metals with a pinch, and Miami will hold on to the initial time here at 3.
Now they need a good chunk of time here at P3. You already have one player spawning out. Real's going to be set up on a natural pinch. He's able to also win a one-on-one gunfight. 3 kills go in favor of your way. If you're Miami, you know where they're spawning. Over towards well side. Let's just continue to build that line.
Well, things looking good for Miami, but Ultra, they were successful on this break attempt last time we were here. See if they can muster it again as we get elicited with Toronto Ultra.
I spawned out back.
Okay, heard you.
Left dark. Still playing this?
I'm gonna come off this to you.
I spawned,
Plant,
We're tip. We out. Really weak.
I'm trying. Okay, I blocked this.
Go new, good Jimmy. I'm just playing dubs, okay?
Yeah. I called the low mid cross. From the U cross, actually, sorry.
Yep.
I'll tell you.
Nothing going you.
One shot. He's top dubs.
Okay,
He's
one
hitting
old,
open slow.
one old.
One old, one top dubs.
Stay down.
Oh, we out dead.
Nice, one could be
Yo,
up.
dead.
Nice, good pinch.
I'm short of
Blocking.
Yeah, I'm blocking. You're good.
I'm gonna pinch.
I have a low pinch.
Well,
Look
top line, I'm
Stay
staying
down,
alive.
stay down.
Look for
One
super,
mid,
okay? Yep, heard you.
I have a low
Yeah,
pinch.
top plat. He's going off his island. He's going front office, bro.
Heard you.
They're
Okay,
coming our
hit
open.
you in front
They could be coming.
Could be open, could be open. Sit out.
I need both weak. Push up both side, okay?
Yep.
Might be open, right? Yeah.
I spawned in.
Give Joe time.
Yeah, he's gonna be open. I don't see
Plus
him.
spawner.
He's on the right, under right.
Yo, I don't rock. I don't want
Two there, only two time.
Close
Hold
outside, close outside. Chill that side now.
on, could be open.
Keep fucking around.
Kitchen dead.
Yo,
They're gonna be
one
plant,
more
okay?
kitchen. One more 5 minute kitchen.
Kitchen.
Dead. I got time, alright?
Zooming out a little bit from the map itself, kind of picking out Mercules' voice. He calls it, he's going on the long pinch. His teammates are helping him out when he's on the last one left standing on the hill. It's good stuff from Merc.
Yeah, just talking about the energy, it just sounds like he's the perfect fit for the social roster because everyone is calm, cool, and collected, focused on the play in front of them. You were at least able to keep that P4 a little bit scrappy and this 50-point lead in your favor. But now Miami looking to fight back. They're soaking up a lot of this P1 time again, but they need the spawns for P2.
Yeah, they absolutely do. But again, you have to kind of fight this war on 2 fronts right now with a 40-point deficit looming and a couple of kills coming away for Ultra to get back on the time for P1. Joe having a good map, 23 and 19. Inside over the top, shut down by Metals. Chance here for Miami with numbers as they clean up the hallways.
Oh, that's a big 3 dead at the right time because now what it does to the spawns for Ultra, they're 3 across the map. The rookie, Mercules, is able to at least line up 2. Teammates are going to fill that gap through the middle space and now still contest at the ending of this time, but Miami have the rotation to do.
What happens with the spawn with Rencor? on top of the new hill. That is a blessing. He can come back towards driveway, help out for this long play. Super gets a look at least one member for Ultra playing through the outside of well. Has to back away, has help nearby. Also responsible for the cross. Super's gotten a read on a lot of this, but no kills coming through. Inside, Mercules teaming up. Redcore falls, it's just down to Real. He's overwhelmed. Ultra secure the break.
The break is perfect because I still think that they have a chance, a slight chance of closing out the game here. So if you're Miami, obviously you don't want to give up all this time. You have to try to contest this. 2 players working their way through well, the rest through mid-spiral. Kleenex is going to have his hands full. Joe Deceive starts it off at the first, and if you keep on trading, you're always going to be in a good spot if you're Ultra.
Yeah, Insight knows exactly what he has to watch. Just this play over to the side door. First kill in, pistol out, trying to wait for help. Kleenex there to supply it, and Insight's still alive. So Miami trying to find this final moment, this hit for the scrap time. They may have to give it up. Insight stayed alive too long, and now you get this bank on trying to play a perfect hold over towards P3.
Yeah, it needs to be a locked-in setup right here for Miami if they want to stand a chance in the comeback here in map number 1. But already 2 players dying off the rotation. Your setup isn't going to be at full strength. So if you're Ultra, take your time on these routes. Everyone gets picked off in their one-on-one. Last player standing is going to be Joe Deceives, and he influences the Backspawns for his team.
Oh, you get a little bit of a mantle here from Redcore. Timing does deter from the play just a touch. Ultra still stacked up over towards Tinside. Kleenex working on a pitch from behind. Finds one from window. A look over towards Real. He'll leave that for his teammates to try to overwhelm. Mercules inside with the pistol. Shut down by Redcore, but there's the final flip. No one's going to touch. And what a debut for Mercules. 27 and 23 with a minute 45 in the hill. What an absolutely unbelievable debut from the young gun.
That's a great opening hard point right there from Ultra. Not coming in with your full lineup, you're thinking, okay, it's going to take us a little bit, to be where we want to be with an instant substitute player. But as soon as we jump into the listening, you can just tell how easy Mercules just fit into the system. He's understanding what he needs to do. He understands what I need to set up on these benches, what I need to pull out the extra SMG as well. But if you are Ultra and you're going to consistently win basically every single rotation on a map, that's how the game's going to go.
Yeah.
Miami can't consistently play from the back foot and expect good results.
I think the other side of that is just kind of watching just the Toronto portion of the minimap, watching how they're moving. Insight feels like he's playing with a little bit of extra tempo.
Yep.
Getting in the mix a little bit more often, not just relying that he's going to have another AR like Beans, who's going to do the dirty work. So Insight's got to step up, play with a little bit more speed, and that fits his play style more, like what we've seen from old Ultra rosters in the past. And moments like flashes in the pan from him this year, but 26 and 20, 22 of those non-traded for Insight, and he still nearly gets a minute in the hill. I love seeing that form of Jamie playing.
Yeah, everyone's just got to step up on the side of Ultra.
Yeah.
Kleenex and Joe Deceives have to be more consistent with their SMGs. Insight has to step up in his spacing, and that's only going to allow Mercules to be the guy soaking up the hill time. Almost 2 minutes, 17 kills in the objective as well, so he's defending that hard point to the T. And when you look at the game flow, it's just, all right, we were back and forth from the first set. But then the second set, Ultra started winning rotation, finding grace at the end of these hard points to give them a better chance over towards the new HP. And that's just the recipe for success, how you want to play HP.
I mean, P2s, if you were to look at that back again, it was like 30 seconds the first time, or there 40 seconds the second time, and another 35 the last time around. And I think the most remarkable thing about saying that is it was rotation wins, but successful holds. That's something that Toronto has really struggled with on the year, not just in the stage. So the fact that you've added a new player in the mix, you're still rotating well, but you're finding more success holding onto these hard points, that's great news for Ultra looking forward, not just in this series, but potentially longer into the weekend.
Oh yeah, without question, man. Hard point, if you're any of these challenger players or an amateur player working your way on in, that's what you're expecting to perform the best at. Now it's just going into search and destroy, where being in a new lineup, strategies aren't going to be the same. You're instantly just having to get a play call in your mind and just okay, this is what I need to do for the roster. So if you're Ultra, search and destroy is going to be your biggest focus without having Beans in the lineup, because he was so impactful for this team in SMD specifically. He had insane amount of 1v1 clutches, insane amount of 1v2 clutches. Now you don't have that. You got to figure it out.
Well, you do have a Challengers player who was one of the top KD leaders in search and destroy through playoffs, so there is a level of that. But on the other side, we got to play to the other tune of the fiddle here. Miami's been unbelievable at search and destroy this stage. In particular, their dealership has looked really, really good. Now, Toronto, like Ant was saying on the desk, round 10s, round 11 losses, so they're no strangers to this map. But this has been an instant addition to the map pool for Miami in a very successful way.
Yeah, it's crazy though, because every single time that they played dealership, it's went all the way to a round 11. They just have the team with more ice to close out those round 11, specifically because of this guy, the new addition addition to the lineup, the super sub, a 1.63 KD. You even heard Metals in the interview say, Super's our brains. Like, he's the guy that's giving the comms, setting up the strategies, and he's also obviously getting his kills. So he's a lot to handle in SD.
And that's the thing is, like, you know, watching over him over the last handful of years, I mean, you got to remember, he was also a part of, like, the Black Ops 6. I think it was the Vodafone Giants back then. This guy slays. Like, he is going to get you at least one when it comes to search and destroy. And that has absolutely reigned true in this first chance of him playing in the CDL. So need this bounce back map here if you're Miami, but it's not a guarantee that the search and destroy is going to come through. Even though you are 6-0 on the mode, you're playing up against a tough adversary on a map that they've both played before, and it did go nearly the full distance last time they played.
Yeah, and it's also a new team. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Beans is not in the lineup. He's not going to be in the same consistent spots. The last time he played Dealership, when it went all the way to around 11, but at least you know, overall big picture for Ultra, they love the attacking side. They love to get aggressive, find that opening duel, get the bomb down immediately, and then just play their numbers. On the opposite side for Ultra, they're great at retakes, so it's just a battle on two fronts.
That's the same thing like we told on the hardpoint side of things.
Yeah.
Defense on one side versus the attack on the other. It's the unstoppable force meets the immovable object. But there is a look at the last 5 maps. Wins across the board, some of them have gone the distance. Round 11s versus Toronto and Atlanta on this map. Those are 2 great search and destroy teams. So those are really notable wins, not just because they beat them on this map, but because who you beat on this map.
The newest map added to the map pool. Miami trying to tie up the series. They're going to be the team early on the defense. Toronto Ultra going to set the tone early on with aggression over towards A, but they have no trophy system, so we're going to slow down the approach.
And I'll be interested to see, like, as this search and destroy starts to develop, do they trust Insight to play kind of the island role, or will they put Mercules in that position to kind of play it out how he sees fit? Well, to come to find out as we get deeper into the rounds. But for this one, it's just opening nades and stuns onto the corner towards A, pushes back Toronto initially, but killing the noise, creating some doubt. Ultra now restaging.
And you're consistently showing face over here at A, so you're just pulling the defense on this side of the map, and you're just trying to find an opening for CleanX to eventually works this pinch, but Bomb is slowly pushed up towards the side, but Jodeci gets called.
Yeah, good contest here from Miami. Play from Vent also works out. It's traded. Here comes that flank, though. But what route does CleanX want to take him? He's going to try to go over through garage side. He does find the first. Real right behind this play through Vent. Finds one. Can't quite get through the Vent initially, but still slips away 1v1.
Oh, some star SMGs in a one-on-one. 25 seconds to go. CleanX has the bomb in hand. You know that you're going up against Real. It's all about the timings.
And the time's ticking. Real's already checked over the top of the B site. Holds a corner. CleanX making his move. Now they see each other. Real backs away. Puts the pressure onto the clock. CleanX tries for the instant hop, and Real gets the perfect read. Doesn't wait to see if he plants it or not. Just chows it, finds the win. Miami takes the opener.
It's a big round right there from Real. The 1v2 clutch. Isolates on the first gunfight through the vent. And then gets the info, repositions, and then another gunfight through the vent. Real might just be a rat. Secures the round there for Miami. Start off 1-0.
Love it. And I think just in particular, the decision to challenge the plant when they do, because the read was there. Like, they knew Real was playing on the garage door. Toronto was starting to get some pace up, but good challenge coming through. Good read from Miami. Matches all of that pressure. Now their first chance at their next offense.
This time they got trophy sips to work with, but one instantly gets blown away. Now it's on Insight. Just try to keep the map A before the teammates get back into the play, but they take a lot of space.
Yeah, and you know you've got a defender over towards the garage door, but Real, not the bomb planner, he can actually move a little bit further forward, see if he can scale up. They see CleanX making the slide back into the site, but then Real shuts down the pitch. Mercules trying to work with CleanX to hold on to the site, but the trades are still good for Miami, leaving the rookie up for the 1v2.
Merc got the magic in him, finds the first, almost lines up the double. But Miami start off with the first blood, put them in the numbers advantage, consistently finding trades because players in the right position. And if you have a 2v1 to close it out, usually it's going to leave one of us standing at the end. And thankfully, Redcore just instantly commits on the double chow. And they quickly go up 2-0.
And again, I just love this tempo of decision for Miami. Not only is the bomb getting on, you're going to get a sub a little bit further forward. Make that defense really work for the retake. It's worked out really nicely so far, both on the defensive and offensive sides here for Miami. What adjustments are we going to see from Toronto? Are they just going to get something a little bit more aggressive? There's the trophy, nades over the top. Stuns also making their way through, but the defense for Miami is not really here. They're elected to give away this space initially.
Yeah, so you should just instantly work this bomb plant. This is what Ultra love to do on a map like Dearly Ship. Man, so deceives. Stay alive from all the nades and explosions over the top. Bomb gets planted 4v4.
Yeah, and Miami's going to be scrambling here. They were hoping all those nades and utilities were going to be able to deter this plant. But they do find first blood regardless. Play next pops up, finds himself two. Trying to slide for a third, but Riel's able to find the trade. But he's on his lonesome. 1v2, and he's got to try to push off not just Insight, but also Mercules on these long corners. I believe he may have seen both.
Yeah, he has info on both. So it's about challenging at the right time, but you peek the wrong corner, and the team fires good enough for Ultra to put one on the board. This time they're like, okay, we're on offense. We got trophy systems. Let's play with the same aggression we did in round number 1. But if this time they're not going to show face, instantly work the bomb plan and it works out.
The interesting thing about that, though, is Toronto only throws, I think, the one trophy on the corner. I don't think they had one on the bomb.
No.
So Miami is banking on, okay, we'll just use all of our nades to get the bomb planner. And it got Joe low, but not low enough to find the kill. So keep that in mind next time Miami tries to play defense. I imagine they will not be just giving away that space for free in the future.
And now they're going to switch up their approach on their offense. Aggressive as hell over towards B, but you already gained the info if you are CleanX. Now, going to give the comm to your teammates, start to hit that rotation on back, because this is where the play is going to commit.
Yeah, really good zone of control established by the utility, and this is what I love about how Miami play this map. They're always trying to get someone to scale deeper into the site. Bomb plant not in yet. Mercules thinking about throwing a shoulder. Riel nearby. Rancor backing up to watch the flank, and Miami's going to try to catch Toronto, trying to challenge this bomb, and that's exactly why Riel makes good on his position for first blood.
You still can't really work this objective unless you find some success in the middle of the map. Thankfully, Meadows starts off with the first. Rancor on the pinch. Now it's a 1v4 for Joe Deceives. He's at least able to find the first, but a 1v3 or 40 seconds, they know exactly where you are. Everyone just chow at once.
I absolutely love how Miami are playing this map right now. Metals gets the information, and again, it's just a triple stack of Heretics members, nowhere to go for JD. But again, it's a second straight offensive round. You get deep, you scale through, you set something up, you get a read when Toronto's defense is moving over, and then the player deep in the site makes his move for first blood. It's beautiful from Heretics.
Yeah, if you're Ultra, we have to be a little bit more spread on your defensive looks. I know you're a great team and retaking, but when you're giving up a lot of space, you don't really have an opportunity to retake it because they have all the power positions. So want to make sure you're initially showing face to the middle of the map, aggressive through courtyard. You know, it's a lot more difficult to retake over towards that B site once it gets planted. But they give up that space. Riel takes advantage of it. He strikes for the first blood. It's been 4 straight first bloods for Miami on this map so far. Now they're up 3-1.
Yep, and here we go. Miami's not going to play that same passive defense. They're going to stack with all 4 members with pre-fire already going down over towards the corner. Super finds first blood, and look at the space that Metals has taken. He is already deep at mid. The only thing that's different here is that Ultra have gotten someone all the way through, and a teammate somehow comes out, getting us to a 3v3.
Oh yeah, so now if you're Mercules, it's just like, hey, you guys can rotate over towards B. I took a lot of space. Now I'm going to work this flank once CleanX falls. Because I got to try to make up for it in the numbers. Thankfully, you're able to almost catch Super. Rancor is able to save him. Now it's Insight in a 1v3.
Yeah, in Insight, this is one of those tough work type moments. Yeah, just jump at him. You know exactly where he's at. And it's another moment, like even though the team nade comes through, but again, because the Heretics get someone deep at the map, yeah, you have to worry about that flank eventually, but it just scatters this Ultra setup so much to where they can't play anything together after first blood's already been tallied.
Yeah, this is why it's so tough to come in on basically 1 day of practice on a brand new lineup and try to have some S&D strategies versus one of the best S&D teams that we had throughout stage 3. They're showing their dominance. Another first blood in their back pocket. That time it was a stack over towards A. Instantly shut down that aggressive push, forced them to try to do something else. And then just play your numbers to your advantage. 4-1 now. Miami back on the offense. And this time the bomb carrier is actually going to take his time over towards A. So let's just show a little aggression over towards B, hold the defense, and then wrap it back towards A.
Again, I love this idea. You're going to throw bait and just say that, look at us, we're throwing all of our numbers towards B, and Toronto's going to have to take their time to re-clear that tin shack again because of the position that Miami were in the last time. So they're sending all 4 members over, and this fake has worked out beautifully. The only thing that's a little bit mismanaged here is that Miami have not aggressed at all towards A, and Toronto are going to be able to reset their defense.
Yeah, that's the only thing. You just didn't take any space when Toronto started to hit that rotation over towards B, but now just going to have it collect. Head clash in towards the A site. Metals with the first blood.
And we can back up. We can take our time. Rewrapping is Riel back over towards B. Mid-map has stayed in control largely of Toronto the entire time, but they haven't been able to sniff out where exactly Miami's moving towards, and that's where the problem starts to occur. Once again, Real scales forward, metals for the plant. Joe finds one on the flank, but I don't know if it's going to make much of a difference. This setup for Miami is so good.
Yeah, they actually lay onto Rencore, but just still in a man disadvantage. So if you are Miami, so everyone watch each other's back. Don't let anyone slip on by. Kleenex is going to get spotted. He's going to fall. 1v3 for Joe Deceives with 30 seconds to go. And he's so dedicated on just finding this kill to Real. He's probably going to run out of time.
Yeah, he's absolutely going to run out of time. Real's just dancing with him. There's the follow-up. This has been a clinic of how to play Dealership Search and Destroy. Both sides of the bomb have looked absolutely perfect from Miami. They still haven't had a first death yet. They've counted every first blood. This has been a masterclass.
Hey, when you play the map 3 or 4 times throughout the stage, every single one goes to around 11. Eventually, you're going to make some of those adjustments to start having some blowouts. And so far, the key to success has been that early first blood for them. You put yourself in the man advantage. You continuously are playing trades to close out these rounds. Now we're at game point. Ultra trying to look for some fight here. Let's just get a first blood. How about we start there?
Defense for Miami stacking towards B. Early look for Rencore. He sees nothing. Crossfire setup is already here. They don't even need the nades, Jay. They don't even need the nades. Jay Metals looking for the ace. Insight completely stuck. Don't know if he gets all 4, but it may not make any difference because Miami have just blown Toronto Ultra out of the water.
Yeah, that's too easy. Way too easy. The mode that requires the most teamwork. They're just able to blow them out the water. 7 first bloods. Every single round, they found that opening kill. They're able to walk away with a 6-1 victory. The SMGs taking the space. The ARs finding success in an opening duels. And then whenever you're always putting yourself in the man-up advantage, you're just playing the man-up advantage every single time. So bounce back, good enough there for Miami to tie the series up at 1. And now we're truly in a Guerrilla series.
Legitimately, you could go back and rewatch every single one of those rounds from just Miami's perspective and come away with something that is so inspiring. Defensively, how they're finding first bloods is just by way of getting numbers and team shots in. Almost every single time. Offensively, their ability to scale someone deep past the site, not just play for plants. Actually, not even playing for plant at all. Let's take away the entirety of the site and then some. See if we can catch Ultra on rotation for a first blood, maybe even a second, and then we'll plant. I mean, that was absolutely flawless when it comes to how you play this. I have to go back and rewatch it again. That's legitimately how I think you play Dealership from here on out.
And you can just tell, like, the way that Toronto Ultra is trying to make Mercules feel comfortable, to feel like he wasn't really needed to do a lot. It's like, on their offenses, I'm the player watching the pinch. On my defenses, I'm going to be camping over towards B Shack. I'm realistically not going to be in the play a majority of the times. I'm just relying on you guys. And unfortunately, everybody else really didn't find success in those early fights, and that led to a smoke show in that map 2.
A fiery map 1, a blowout map number 2 has us at a 1-1 count as we head back and lounge with the desk.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Dang, they all look so good today. Chance, welcome to the stream. And we got to talk about what we just witnessed, because that was a dominant 6-1 in Search and Destroy.
Yeah, I feel like there might be one other team that tries Dealership against Miami, and if it goes anything like that, that'll be the auto veto for the rest of the year, because that was godlike.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from this series. And Allie,
yes,
Mercules is pretty good.
he is pretty good, especially in that respawn. But when it came to this map number 2, I mean, it's hard to plug in a 4th player in the middle of what is to be a major and not have any straps, really, when it comes to Search and Destroy and Control and trying to force them into that system. And especially on Miami Heretics, this is one of their best maps. I mean, Super had 4 first bloods. Miami just plays this map at a pace that it feels like no other team really comes close to. Like, maybe some opportunity with Joe, but he got shut down 3 different times trying to get aggro mid, and I mean, that's what you just got to do if you're Miami.
Guys, this Miami team would have been dominant at Search last year. Vista, 6-star Rio, 6-star Rio, like, it would have just been absolutely insane, because this map is similar to those, right? It's just super fast-paced, you can get up close and personal, and the retakes happen in an absolute instant, and you see, when you find those first bloods, you can just toy with the other team.
Yeah.
6-1 Search and Destroy, 250 to 192 though. Toronto able to strike first in the best of 5. So Chance, let's break down the hard point. What gave the Squirrels the edge?
I mean, I think just better as a team, right? Like, you know, Mercules having to fill in a role, but he did just fine. He was top slayer in the lobby and had nearly 2 minutes inside of the hill soaking. Yeah, and I just want to, like, talk to him and see what the experience is like of, like, playing in challengers and then playing on a team like this. Not even playing against other pro teams, but I would just imagine the game is getting slowed down a ton, and we heard the listening. exact same Toronto
Yeah,
Ultra
perfect.
comms that we're used to like expecting. So I just want like his perspective on it because I gotta imagine incredibly interesting. And he's playing with some Brits.
Yeah, what I found interesting is like, yeah, he had 27. He's playing well. Had so much time in the hill. Lowest amount of damage on the team, and that's just because everybody's weak. He's soaking time finding those cleanup kills, and really the difference on this map, just like it was in the last series, was the P2s. First time Toronto Ultra full 60. Second time they're able to break on in through the back, get a huge chunk. Just good prioritization, and obviously playing well from there.
This guy causing problems in control all stage 3. Joe Deceives looking to lead Toronto to a swing game victory. KP10 third overall. Not bad for a guy who does a lot of objective work.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I mean, he is the case to be top 3 sub in the game. At some days, he's the absolute best. So Joe Deceives gonna have to do some heavy lifting. Got some respawns coming up, and after that game 2 search and destroy, you probably want to win 3 and 4. Let's not go game 5 here, Toronto.
Now, Chance, I've watched a lot of Miami. I don't remember many games where Real goes -10 and the rest of the team is even. Is he going to be the X factor?
It's been like occasional, especially with like now that they have like a powerhouse AR duo, like the dynamic, like what he has to do on the map is very different. So he has a couple of slow ones from time to time, but always bounces back. And when he's at his best, he has the takeover potential. So yeah, very excited to see Real play. Not expecting that same performance twice.
Allie, who did you pick in this series?
I picked Miami.
Are you confident in that pick?
Yes, I'm so confident in that pick.
And who's your player to watch game 3?
It's probably going to be Real because he had a slow respawn map number 1.
Nameless, you're the only one with confidence in Toronto.
Yeah.
Who's your player to watch?
Joe Deceives. We just saw that pull up. I mean, the kid's absolutely insane. We expected him to take over here in this game 3, where they have the advantage.
Final question, is Joe Deceives a top 10 player?
Yes.
Is he a top 5 player?
Borderline. He's right there. This
We'll
is the
answer
tournament to
that
solidify
in
it.
just a bit. For now, we got to get to the caster, shift and study. Take it away.
Thanks, friends. Thanks for keeping that nice and polite, nice and tidy. Did not expect that. Now with Chance on the desk, that guy is a wild card. It's the opposite of the wild card, actually. He's very, very, you know what you're going to get. This is going to be an interesting control.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think the thing about this is, yeah, from the side of Miami, you know, you're cooking with the full roster. Things have started to get more improved. But, and I say this with, I think, a lot of recency bias, watching him at Brooklyn on this vault control, Mercules was a problem.
Oh, yeah, he definitely is a problem. And if you're Miami, you were trying to throw this back into your map pool because before stage 3, this is basically the only control that they could win.
Yeah.
But so far, when adding Super to the lineup, you're sitting at 0-2, getting outslayed on both sides, not really having a consistent game plan of what you want to execute there. At least on defense, though, like, they can sort of somewhat hang. They just need to make sure they bring it into slaying because Ultra with a new guy, even though it's Mercules and not Beans, Beans was a 0.6 in control. So if you're Mercules, just come out here and be a 1.0 and you're going to stand a pretty good chance.
I got the Mercules over in this map.
I like that.
I'll put that. I mean, it's just like legitimately, like, and again, if you watch Challengers, that Admit Brooklyn team was a monster on both sides of the control zones. And Mercules fitting into this system, I think is going to be the exact same comfortable Mercules that we saw in Challengers.
Oh, yeah, because you think about the SMGs that he had in Challengers.
Yeah.
The way that Exceed was playing, the way that Craze was playing, it's non-stop tempo. So now you got Joe Deceives and Kleenex basically doing the same exact thing. So Mercules just needs to find his kills. And Miami, already to start this game, on their defense, just get absolutely torn apart by Kleenex.
Yeah, and this is the thing, again, just looking at how Toronto kind of set themselves up, how they try to get this break off going. There's a lot of respect for that high ground control, but the SMG's fully locked in on where these pictures would likely come from. Nice shots out of Hercules, able to help Kleenex out for one, but eventually overwhelmed. That second tick not fully confirmed.
Yeah, Miami had the numbers. They're able to trade out effectively before that second segment does get locked. So now you're just trying to take a little bit of map control away from them. But Mercules and Insight, the ARs, find an opening double.
Really good.
Now you can reinforce your way through to the map, to stack it, and extend time early.
Yeah, and Kleenex is going to be trusted to go surf out where exactly this Miami pinch is at. So second tick lock, third on the way. Here comes the collapse from the Heretics, trying to jump back into the point. Shut down, Joe Deceives, good for one. Final moment, though, is just down to Real. Kleenex looking for him. Second kill gets down. A little slide away allows Red Core to clean things up and get some depletion on this third tick.
Yeah, now he just wants to stay alive as long as he possibly can before the reinforcements are able to get back into the play. Metals is going to fall through Top Cat. So Ultra have an avenue of approach here. You can walk through the front door, you can drop down through the middle of the map, and that leads to all 4 dead. Time should be extended while Mercules is already watching the cutoff.
Yeah, he's already seen one slipping through. I don't think Super saw him. You do have Real looking to just keep this overextension safe, but now Mercules comes back into the play and hits the cut, but does not get there in time. 15 plays 14, minute 27 on the clock, small advantage for Toronto.
Yeah, Miami, every kill that they get, just need to continuously push on forward. Real and Rencore already combining for 2. Mercules trying to rip out the guy from top art. But he just wants to hold this position for his team. But now you got to watch your back line because here comes Real. He's only able to get 1, so you clear out your spawn. But 12v11, you don't have a lot of opportunities to play trades.
Yeah, you've got maybe 2 hits at this if you're Ultra. Middle of the map goes back in the way of Toronto. Now the pressure. Whoa, they find Rencore front side of the zone. Plus Mercules now pushes up through the palms. Last one left alive at the moment, at least in terms of who's furthest forward for the defense's medals. You're going to get a little bit of a pinch established by Real, but it's being watched by Joe DeCesar, or is it? It should have been, but doesn't really fully come through. Kills come out, and that's enough to at least get this tick, I think, confirmed there. Yeah, sure is for Toronto.
Yeah, the biggest kill right there, though, was Real finding a timing through double doors. He's able to get 1, walk away with his life and his AR from the top side of Art. Also finds the second kill, so 40 seconds to go. Basically, the last was coming in for Ultra because they only have 6 lives remaining. Insight almost gets the better of Super, but once he falls, now it's your last push.
Yeah, Metals is going to shut down B Street. Everything's going to have to come through Vault Stairs. And yeah, you've got Real just kind of running circles. Yeah, and cleaning everything up. So Miami's going to hold defensively. Not the worst start, though, all things told, for the side of Toronto. Insight wasn't able to quite get things going, but you get 4 ticks. Not bad.
Yeah, 4 ticks definitely isn't bad when you're spawning in on the offense without any trophy systems, but thankfully if you're Miami, you had a Real because the ARs are just so posted on their side of the spawn, and the only person taking space once those kills are going down is Real. Thankfully, he was able to win one-on-one gunfight after one-on-one. Goes 12-6 at the opening round with 1,300 damage. He was the guy setting the tone there. Now you got 4 seconds to make up.
Yeah. And I think just kind of comparing to the stats that we had from the Stage 3 qualifiers, that's actually a really solid defense for Miami.
Oh, yeah.
The team that had really, really struggled on that side of the zone. But now you get a chance to go over to the attack. And I'm going to keep my focus, again, just firmly planted on what route does Mercules want to take here in terms of, is he going to be trusted on the island to watch through B Street, or are they going to try to get him in the mix?
Yeah, realistically, you just want Joe DeCesar and Kleenex to really dictate to how this round is going to go, because Toronto Ultra, so far in this stage, they've been able to outslay on the defensive side by almost 8 kills, and that's usually through your SMGs just nonstop in their grill. 2 making 3 kills initially go their way. They instantly shut down that first push.
I love that. That's just 1 sub on one side, 1 sub on the other. Mercules hangs out with Insight, or pardon me, Kleenex, and then jumps back over to help out. Joe DeCesar finds 3 kills to open things up. Beautiful start for the rookie. Yeah, just evaluating what his efficacy is going to look like when it comes to being a CDL potential player. He's hitting it to this point. Solid start here for Toronto defensively. Real, good win. Keeps the pressure on to B for a small time, but Mercules right there to find the trade.
Oh, yeah. They just consistently are having the numbers in every single one of these engagements. Mercules with the double. Joe DeCesar loses the one-on-one after taking down 1, but you already have another line of defense here to contest it while Mercules is already pushed out over towards ammo. Now he's forcing Miami to overextend through pool.
Yeah, they've got the perfect defensive setup. They have lost Super, and he's going to need to touch this zone and pull this defense back because his teammates are in hell right now.
Eventually he tries to get back into the play, but Kleenex on the wrap back is able to locate Super. It's now 26 seconds, not a single segment earned on the side of Miami. You're trying to get something done or at least pull a defense over towards B so you can open up a lane through the middle of the map, but Joe DeCesar strikes for 2, and now you need to make a miracle happen.
I am loving what I'm seeing from Mercules. 14-8, getting it done now with both weapons. Give him 9 in a row. Oh my goodness, what a debut for Mercules. Toronto suffocating this Miami offense. Last chance would have to come through B Street. Kleenex keeping him on the pinch. Joe right there with him, and there's just no way they could touch his zone. Beautiful.
That's just too much aggression there. Usually with Beans on a map like Vault, he's the guy strictly running an AR. Insight's going to be switching between that SMG and that AR role, but Mercules picks up an SMG, and he goes on 9 in a row. Don't know if he's able to earn himself the Hellstorm, but once he finds all these kills through B Street, blocks the spawn while pushing out ammo, and then just consistently winning one-on-one gunfight after one-on-one gunfight. The rookies having a good series so far.
Having a great series. So now Toronto, huge advantage in terms of the current tick progression. And we'll get a chance at their second offense with trophy systems to help give them some support on their breakoff. Now, I will say, and I don't think Mercules is going to quarterback this play, but usually round 3 offenses for Mid Brooklyn were through Vault Stairs to B.
Yeah.
Will there be something like that for Toronto? No, not this time.
Just non-stop aggression through the middle of the map. They know if we secure these 3 segments here at A, we guarantee ourselves defense. If it does go to a round number 5 and Inside and CleanX, last 2 standing. Gonna guarantee that first segment. Now Miami have to hit a couple routes to work their way back on in. Thankfully, Metals wins the 1 through Cat.
Yeah, Stack will get the second tick of progress locked in. CleanX helping out, able to find 1 trade, but by himself, trying to slip through, but not gonna happen. And now Mercules, yeah, caught trying to toss a stun. So Miami's defense able to recover, but it comes at the cost of the 2 ticks already mentioned.
Yeah, second segment does get locked, so you're currently up by 6 if you're Ultra. And if you're Miami, you're looking to not give up any more. You just need to keep on slaying the way that we have been. It was Real that set the tone first on the defense, but everyone else is starting to come activated. CleanX, last man standing, the beat down good enough for Redcore to find that kill. Now all of Ultra off the respawn.
Oh, Joe gets caught in a weird spot. The perfect spawn trap starting to be built here for Miami. Mercules cleans out B Street. Metal seen at the front doors, but keeps his life. Stun does not connect. Joe trying to work through this. Again, more damage coming through, but Super's got his cross, and this is as deadly as anything we've seen. Just the 2 ticks for now, and Miami are not bending on this spawn trap at all.
Yeah, they can't breathe. Like 21v9. We're blocking the spawns up both ends, so you're consistently spawning towards the backside of the tank. As soon as you're coming off the respawn, the stun is hitting you right into the grill. So Ultra, after a magnificent start to this round, have nothing else to show for it besides those 2 segments. But Inside of Mercules at the right time. Clutch up, find it 2. You can work your way back in A.
Metals has gotten 1. Super, Red, healed, dealt with quickly.
No way.
No way. So there's the extra 60 seconds. The probability of them winning this round is still low, but it's not impossible. Clock comes to a pause, Joe on the site, and now it's just Super, the only one really to contest from top window.
Yeah, you just got to be in a position to read these pitches, though, because you know Miami are going to set up on some of these long routes. They know that Stack isn't going to be there, and now you have no more respawns on the side of Ultra. So your last push has to go through the front, but your ARs already fall. And this is going to be Miami standing strong again.
But still, that extra tick of progress is everything for Toronto. So even though it looked like it was just going to be the 2 that had previously captured, it will be 3. So now for Miami, you got to get this done by way of full capture.
Yeah, realistically, you want to close it out on this round.
Absolutely.
Because you secure every single segment. Obviously, that's the end of the map, but you're guaranteed if we do go to that round number 5 to be on the attack again. Thankfully, the AR, sometimes the SMGs in the hand of the AR players, they were able to slay. That's been an issue so far throughout this stage with Miami. A map that they used to love. They just really couldn't figure out once you added Super into the lineup of how they wanted to play it, how they were going to execute their slaying. They've been showing it so far on their defensive side.
Yeah, which is, again, just looking at the qualifier stats, already an improvement in terms of them being able to capitalize and win defensive rounds. But like you mentioned, the math will favor Toronto if this does get to 5 rounds. Metals taking her out underneath. This is a B hit developing, but Toronto not going to be surprised by this. They haven't seen anything in A, so the setup is perfectly already set up for this B defense, and trades are fine enough. Mercules only able to find 1, and Real's actually going to get a route that pushes the spawns for Toronto way out, so Miami will get a second chance at this.
Yeah, and we already have arc control, so how much more can Real do in this position? He's able to get 1, almost get out of dodge. That at least guarantees 1 segment here at B. Your other AR on the opposing end is still holding down this cross angle, and let's just stay on the point.
Yeah.
They can't get near you.
Good kills coming through. Redcore up top, dealt with. Super trying to keep his life. He's got Real working with him. Help on the way, though. And here comes the pinch from CleanX. No one's watching it from Vault Stairs. He's going to find the first. Real pushed away. Still kicking for now. 3rd tick being worked on. Here comes South from Miami trying to watch over this pin, but Real will drop. Now it's down to Metals. Joe Deceives dancing with him. Gets him down to essentially a bullet, and Mercules will finish off the play. Toronto will hold.
Yeah, this is where we don't want to waste any more time. Okay, we got 2 segments at B. We're on by 2 lives and start to work our way over towards A. Just need to take some cat control, and right now, Toronto have every single one of those angles cut off, but Super through the double doors finds 1. Now the last man standing is going to be CleanX, and they are still committing at this B point.
Good shout from Super. Takes out the contested over towards Stairs side. Miami trying to get back over to get this extra 60 seconds. Inside in the way, though. Wins the first one cleanly. Real with the trade. Now the Semtex now finds the second. Up top, it's just down to CleanX. He'll fall, and that'll be an extra 60 seconds with the 5 life advantage for the Heretics.
Yeah, now Mercules knows that we already lost that B point. point. I need to try to take some space in their spawn, but he loses the one-on-one gunfight. Now Miami have a stack going. You gotta go if you're Ultra.
You sure do, and Real's putting pressure on the pinch, making sure the defense is held back in their spawn a little while longer. Good slip away from Real, kills so much time, allowing that first tick of progress to get locked. Rencor still existing right under the noses of Toronto, but now has been seen. Still comes away with one. Hold on a second, that's 3 dead. It's just down to the Rook.
Oh, Mercules, what can you get done? Can you at least stall out time for your teammates to get back into the play? Because Real, or Rencor on the other hand, he put himself in a position to get the players off the respawn, so you instantly have the numbers. That's 4 dead. Miami should win this map now.
And Supers giving a little ceremonious welcome to the league there at the end as Miami will get the stack and now take an edge in the series in a major way. A huge swing back for Miami.
And you can see Rencor, wow, finally guys, we won a ball control. It's been a long time, but we can start to add this back into the map pool, and this is the perfect time to do it at the event, at your home major, to go up 2-1 in this series versus Ultra. It's a simple story though, right there on the map 3. It's just Miami usually cannot keep up in this lane. That time they were able to outslay Toronto Ultra. The only one that goes positive is Mercules. Like Joe Season Insight really didn't have a big impact on that map, and they usually show it on their defenses. That time they just got caught off guard with that early B push, and Miami just kept on committing to that play, and it continuously caught Toronto off guard.
Yeah, really this kind of comes down to a couple of final 1v1s over the top of the B zone. I mean, the initial break-off looked like Miami was being read, but then there's that last 1v1 that they win, gives them a little bit more time to breathe, a little bit more space to work with off respawn. And you mentioned it, Mercules 24-22, 19 non-traded, good stuff again for the debut, but in the face of 24-18 from Rencor and 28-18 from Real, those two boys were shooting.
Yeah, those are the guys that we've always talked about throughout this entire season from Miami. Can we get these guys some more consistent players around them? Because they're always capable of putting numbers up like that. Thankfully, you add a player like Super, more consistent in the AR role. Metals is playing a lot more consistent ever since Super has entered into the lineup, but they always had that slaying prowess, and they show it there on the map number 3. The 3 maps in the middle of this series as well, like the Dealership, the Vault, and the Protocol coming up next, is all from the series that they played online, and it was Ultra walking away with every single one of those respawns. But when you just don't have your team, strategies aren't the same, man.
Yeah, there's a level of that to be sure. Again, I think in terms of an emergency substitute situation, they made the best pickup they possibly could. I do think that there's a level of this Ultra team is not changing their identity dramatically, so they're still fighting, they're still in this. Is it the same as playing with Beans? No, not at all, but you know, you're still battling. And this Miami team's not bad. You gotta remember that they're still finished off this qualifier stage with their only loss being to Toronto when they had a hot couple of weeks. So, you know, this was a square up. Namo said it at the very beginning. What's the difference between the 4 and the 5 seed? Nothing. They're essentially the exact same seed. So there's a level of these two teams being evenly matched, and we've been treated to a really competitive series at this point.
Oh yeah, without question, man. Miami have answered the call once they spawned into that search and destroy. They showed improvements on their vault control, which they haven't been able to show throughout the stage. And now if you're Ultra, you're trying to go back-to-back in hard points with a rookie on the lineup. At least based off what we saw in map number 1, the fundamentals are there. You need to make sure you do the same thing on a map like Protocol, because you did play this team on this situation in a map 4, and the reason why you were finding a lot of success is because you were breaking the money hills. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that with a new substitute player in the lineup, but just stay consistent on being the players there first, being the team initially off the play.
And I think that was the impressive thing about the Ultra listening from Hacienda, was when they were building for rotation, you even heard Merc saying, I'm going to go on a pinch here. Like, they're still thinking about it in the correct way. But here's a look back at over kind of how the opening map had gone and how things are going to this point here. To this point, you're seeing, again, the 2 rookies to the league topping the charts for both of their squads, which is inspiring to see in terms of, again, longevity in the league for maybe both these guys.
So if you're Mercules, you're feeling great. All right, my first series versus a hot Miami Heretics. I'm doing what I need to do for the lineup. I just need everybody else to start to pick it up around me. It's just tough. Like I said, if you don't have your full lineup to have all that confidence you would in the world to have this rematch here, but he's just got to continue to do what he does. On the opposite side for Super, I feel like he's not really like at that high level the way we saw him on the online stages. Probably a little lackluster here so far here on land, but at 1.06, you'll take that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's always been a certain thing, like talking about Super as we look back over the bracket. You know, Super's history playing in EU Challengers has always done really, really well online, but not being able to reproduce those same kind of success stories in person. Maybe not just from an individual standpoint, but as a collective squad. So for Miami, sitting up 2-1 right now, you're looking at this like you're looking at Madrid. Like, hold on a second, these guys are gunning. The issue is you have to go up against the Thieves next, whoever wins this matchup, which is no easy sight. Other side of that, if you're joining us here late, Vancouver continues to find success versus Atlanta. Dude, we're getting some weird head-to-head rivalries developing this season. So that's going to be a really interesting winners round 2. As Boston and Optic are waiting to jump on the stage next. Before we do, we get into the protocol hardpoint. And again, I think all eyes on both the rookies that are taking the stage here to see who may find an edge.
It's a big map, man. Big map for both of these squads. If you're Toronto, you only had the opportunity to play it once throughout this stage. It's like one of those 50-50 hard points for them as a roster, but last time it was a 250 to 190 score in favor of the Ultra. They were finding breaks in towards the bunker, but here we go into the map number 4. Miami trying to advance that Saturday through the winners bracket side into the P1 we go. Trades are back and forth. Ultra trying to at least play keep away for now.
Yeah, look at the early route with Kleenex just going underneath, and he's going to try to surprise Redcore here through ladder, and that's exactly what happens. So now you got double window control for Ultra. They do this a lot, and that's why it's like Kleenex finding every single kill to this point, and that'll be enough for Toronto to flip the map at the same time.
Spawns instantly flip, but you still are unaware of what Metal's position is. He was camping towards the top side of Grandma's, and now it's his opportunity to potentially play keep away. He just wants to play his life as long as he possibly can, but Joe DeCease is going to fly on up, take care of that gunfight. Now the spawn's in favor of Ultra as well for P2.
Yeah, Insight, once again, up top towards the windows, pushed off, Real deals with it. Double for him now, making his way over towards mid. Kleenex wins, but gets pushed back just a touch. The hunt is on by Super, but the regen is here, and this 1v1 may dictate who wins P2. Super finds not just one, but the second on the Joe DeCease up top on the outside ledge. Miami gets a P2 early time.
It's a big snap, and then you already see Rencore just backing on up, not allowing any pin spawns to happen, so they can put all their focus through the middle of the map. They're soaking up so far a lot of this P2 time. Thankfully, Mercules finds a double, but instantly responded with the double out of Metals. Now, Rencore, your opportunity to shine. A clean 4 dead. Miami still holding.
Yeah, good long shots, though, from Joe DeCease. Keeps the numbers reduced here for Miami, leaving Metals to kind of play by himself over towards blockers, but he catches one. Opens the door for Super to kind of take the baton and run with it. And that flips the spawns. What a start for Miami. Up 30-plus points. Real trying to finesse the scrap time, but Miami have won the macro game again, flipping spawns.
Yeah, now that you flip those spawns, we can still be aggressive towards this side of the map at P2. Metals, your job to play keep away. And everyone else just watch those routes off the rotation, because Miami now, back-to-back, have an opportunity to blow this game wide open. Metals, unfortunately, is going to fall off hold. And all of Ultra, they just work off the routes, and it works out perfectly. 3 for 1. At least if you're Miami, you have 2 players still towards the back.
On Real, good Semtex followed up with the clean shots onto Kleenex. Joe DeCease keeps the hard point open, but the spawns will stay stable for Miami. And battling through the middle of the map, Super's able to make sure that Toronto cannot recontest from the front. So once again, another great moment here for the Heretics.
Yeah, now Ultra forced to find a break. You know, and the longer routes that you take, the more time that they're going to get, and the more opportunities they have to hit that early rotation over towards the bottom side of bunker. But Real's weak. Let me send in Super for the trade. We're still going to be able to hold down this final 20 seconds. Let's just start thinking about that rotation over towards New.
Again, it's just another hard point that starts off so cleanly for Miami. They know they're going to be a little bit late to the party here at P4. Metal's going to take the long route through both. Hercules the one to read that, plus another. And he's going to be calling for help here, surely. Lots of noise being created from the front, but Real opening up some space through Spiral. Forces the ARs to step up for Toronto. They provide exactly as they need to. Metal's the last one left, and whoa, he gets a second. It must have been a call for Insight that he was 1 HP, but Joe DeCease will get the Semtex to take him out of the play.
Now you got Real going on the bench. He knows that this player's coming off the respawn. Does he time it to perfection, or just absolutely slamming Insight off of that gunfight? So now you have the approach. So work your way through big doors to 3v3.
There comes the flood. Nade lands. Fob up good from Redcore. Joe DeCease by himself. Lots of low health pools, but cannot find more than the first. Insight thought about it, but then had a second thought that was, I need to play my life. I need to wait for a little bit of help here because now we're down 50, and this is only getting uglier here for Toronto.
Yeah, and this is good 20 seconds to fight for. It's just you might not have an opportunity to contest it because Rencor and Metals combined for 3. So now Insane, who was waiting patiently for his team, has to continue to wait and never approach that HP. So Miami up by 60 after the first set. Rotation is going to be won by them as well. And they are just consistently now playing ahead of the game.
And this is, I think, looking at this map, P2, P3, P4, this is where we're seeing the lack of beams has really impacted Toronto's ability to break hills. It just is not getting set up. It's not getting structured. They're trying to win rotation. They're trying to win spawns, but once they lose that battle, there isn't a plan. There isn't a good executable towards breaking these hills. So you have to just rotate better. Here's what I'm getting out of your Toronto.
Yeah, they got to do it a whole lot better on the second half. You want to try to force this game number 5, and already showing it here on the P1. Every time Miami try to contest this, work their way through mid-gun, the ARs have the crossfire set up to not even allow them to contest this. But now if you're Real, who's probably already weak on the HP, how long can he stay alive? Not for long, and Toronto continuously holding.
Jodeci's last one standing here, though, for Ultra. Nice finesse, allows Insight to come through to keep the hard point open. Toronto still holding on to the right side of the minimap for the spawns for new, but Metals, Real, working on cleaning up top mid, and there's a chance for them, to do this, hit a route and flip spawns immediately.
And you can already see what Rencor does, because
Yeah.
my teammates spawn on the backside of Grandma's. That means one spawns behind me, so let me guarantee this one-on-one. Everyone else with their gunfights through the front, and we can trap them on the backside of Tower. A 20-11 start from the other rookie on this squad. He has been unbelievable with this AR.
Has been. Inside through top barrels, stays alive, clean X for 2, allows Toronto to get back into the hard point. This is key time, again, for a rotation that looked really solid for Miami. Toronto now only being down about 20 points feels kind of miraculous, and it's not getting any worse here for Toronto. They're still holding on to the scrap time at 2.
And you see what it's doing to the spawns now for Miami. You do not want to be in this situation where you're having to continuously play catch up, but you got players like Rencor who dictate the game. Miami currently up by 20. Let's step aside and go to a listening with the home team.
Está el barco. Y otro semicírculo. Barco, vale, creo. Barco, vale. Sumo yo. Sale Piwa.
¿Tienes la izquierda entera?
Tiro yo en mapa atrás.
Muerto va para. Te a la izquierda, cuidado antes, Shema. Sí, nada izquierda.
Izquierda yo, ¿me habéis escuchado?
Sí, no lo veo. Tengo la izquierda.
Sí, dos.
Sí, otro tiro.
Un tiro yo, lo que y otro front derecha, aguanta yo.
Un tiro Mércules, necesita ayuda putos. Son dos.
Juan y Renko, ¿no?
No, vaya.
Venga yo, ¿vale? Son 3 puntos, pues.
Big Fort, Big.
Sí,
Big
ya
para
está.
otro
Van a ir para el caracol.
Seguramente.
Caracol no ve nada. Está ya Max y uno caracol. Me pega bien caracol.
Caracol toca también, son dos.
Ya, sí, no.
Punto. Son dos en
No lo
medio.
veo. Está bien contigo, Chema.
El último back. Son 2 puntos. Sí, son los 2 últimos. Han nacido mapas,
Sí, se han de mapas. Vamos de paro.
Vale. Voy a pinchar al medio, bro.
Dale.
Voy por la izquierda, ¿vale?
Sí, estoy.
Víctor, una bala inside, son dos.
Cuidado que pueden abrir pedos.
Dos en Víctor.
Me pega a pillarle el Víctor.
Aguanta. Pinchado mapas, bro.
Venga, sepa dentro, eso para ábrete.
Vale, dale ya.
Caracol no veo nada.
Un tiro uno.
Está en heavy, bro.
Un tiro los dos.
Se ha ido caracol.
Un tiro.
Caracol y backside.
Vale, un tiro. Un tiro. Punto y el Víctor. Aguanta.
Llega la caracol rápido.
Sí, inside son 2 puntos. Si va a ojito al caracol, me
Va backside, caracol muerto. Otro más, que no entra.
Vaya van a ganar.
Le pinchó.
Pase por caracol. Otra vez el Víctor.
Otro más.
Un tiro. Vale, ya saqué buena meta, bro.
Tengo mapa. Pilla elevator. Tengo mapa.
Penate 3.
Vete si para ver el
Víctor.
mapa.
Víctor inside. Te ayuda, chaval.
Entra el Vic.
Phoenix izquierda.
Son 3.
Son 3. Vale, apunta P2, gente. Uno P2, sí. Es Merck y otro, creo.
Estoy abriendo mapa.
Vale, míralo tú.
Tengo que estar en mapa,
sí.
Me tengo front P3.
It's a tale of 2 rotations right now, Jay. Miami looking flawless. A lot in rotation on hill to hill in P1, P2, but Now you got Toronto cleaning up from 3 to 4 with a lead as we head back to our third set of hills.
Yeah, as soon as we got to that P3 and we jumped into the listening, Redcore was calming in Spanish. I'm able to understand a little bit, but he's saying, all right, you guys need to calm down. We need to listen to me because we're too frantic. We're just allowing these guys to pick us apart one-on-one gunfights and not putting our focus on the front door. And so far, Ultra made P3 scrappy. They dominated over towards the P4, and now they're up by 20 with Miami. They just flicked, and they were up by 50, and all of a sudden that lead is gone.
Yep, blink of an eye. A really solid couple of hills in a row for Toronto. Insight on another large spree. He was on 6 just a moment ago. He's back on to 5 before falling again. So Insight really stepping up. Last 12 seconds looks good here for Ultra, and Joe is going to stop a route from underneath. This could lead to a game-winning play right here over the top of P2.
Because if you're Ultra, you're slaying your way through the front side. You're trapping them over towards trip window, so you're going to win the rotation over towards P2. But now everyone dropping around Insight. He's going to be the last man standing. So Miami find the early break, and this is their way back into the game. You're down by 40. You need to contest as well over towards this P2, but Insight with this Hellstorm is not going to allow him to fully set up.
Not at all. Rancor is able to find one, though, as the Hellstorm's being called in, and it comes through quickly. So Toronto will get Miami out of the hill, but they still have to battle against the wave of Heretics members that are still here. And the battle's going to rage right on top of the hard point. Kleenex looking for a route, cleans up one, aims up high, but it's back and forth. Pinstripe kill feed, leaving Super the last one left, and as he drops, Toronto look good for the scrap.
And now if you're Miami, you don't want to be too aggressive on this play because you don't want to spawn out at all. Mercury's taking space away, already makes it up the zip line as well. So every kill that you get from this position, they're all the way across the map.
Oh, nice little route here from Hercules, just changing up the position and keeping Miami further back, deep in towards the spawn, not necessarily putting together a buffer zone in front of the hard point. Now the long route from Hercules working out as he gets stopped on 3 in a row. Miami still holding on to spawns, but they need this next wave of gunfights, and so far so good. Joe thinking about it with an AR will jump in for the contest, and now wants the challenge, but Miami will clean things up.
Yeah, can't go one by one right here if you're Ultra. Someone has to develop on a long route, but everyone is just getting gunned down. Miami able to get a clean 4 dead, stabilize on the map, put someone in a position to hard block those back spawns. And now there's just so many layers that Ultra have to first initially work through before they even contest this HP.
Oh, they clean up Real. Now they're trying to isolate onto Super. Nice shots from Hercules, but Rancor on the other side has gotten 2 from the Heretics. Spawn still staying stable for Miami. Hercules working on the pin. Red and dealt with. Clean. This is looking really solid for Miami. 5 in a row for medals. Rancor gonna meet him there. And now over 200 points. And beyond that are the Heretics. A clean wipe. The spawns will move and they can rotate to 4 first.
And you said it, without Beans in the lineup, their breaks are not gonna be the best. But now you need one here at the Money Hill. Miami breached that 190 point mark. They have a couple players early off the rotation, so Ultra needed break and they needed quick.
Oh, no. What a nade. Not what you need. Kleenex takes out his teammate plus himself. That essentially eliminates the first hit for Ultra. They're going to have one more look at this, Jay.
Yeah, but the setup right now for Miami could easily be picked apart. There's only 2 players in the HB. You find the opening kill through top mid, you just gotta plug your way on in.
That's coming through the front. Rancor trying to spam things down. Super working with him. Medals right there, part of the play. That's another full 4 dead. If Ultra are gonna do this, it's gonna be scrappy. Someone's gonna have to be a hero. Jonas finds the first blood. Here comes the hit.
You got the numbers. You just gotta fly in and get the trade. Tie game. Miami take the lead. Last push coming in from Ultra. Gunfights in favor of Miami.
Real still hanging on the corner though. Jonas dealt with. Last 10 seconds. Is anyone able to touch this in time? It would have to be Insight, but he's held back by medals. Last 4. You've got to get there if you're Kleenex. Shutdown comes through. The new kid in Hercules can only touch for a moment, and it's a dramatic comeback in Miami. What? No, I don't know how to translate that into Spanish. I don't think you need to. Everyone knows what he just said.
Yeah, he said, bye-bye, have a wonderful time. Thank you guys for stopping here in Boca Raton. They get their redemption in this series, even though Toronto are at full strength without being in the lineup. But the ARs definitely came to play on the side of Miami. The SMGs had their moments, like if you think about medals, in towards the bottom side of P4 where Ultra were dominating that HP. He just finds an opening kill, slides them through to find a second to make that play. Very, very chaotic, and this is what Miami is capable of when everyone is firing on all cylinders. I know you're not going up against the same Ultra roster you played a couple weeks ago, but just their game plan, their upgrades in their Search and Destroy on dealership. The same thing with the Vault Control. That's a series you're definitely going to look back and be like, okay, we learned a lot of things and it showed there.
And look at just the initial start from Miami, but most importantly, again, 2 to 3. 3 to 4, so successful for them in the final moments. Really, both teams finding a lot of success on that same transition. And again, it's just so tough for Ultra. We talked about it a couple of different times, but without Beans in the picture, when you're on the back foot, what are those requirements in terms of rehearsal reps of how are we going to break these setups? What routes are we taking? Who's doing what? That's where the difficulty comes through. But I still have to give a lot of credit to Mercules. That's a hell of a debut. Put it into an impossible position. 25 and 32, 16 assists, 3,800 damage, a minute 25 in the hill. I think you're still looking at a very dangerous Ultra team, even though they're going to be in the lower bracket early with Mercules in the lineup.
Oh yeah, without question, because Ultra, they're probably thinking